You rarely betray yourself by saying no. You betray yourself by opening a negotiation after the decision has already been made. 5 more minutes. Start tomorrow. Wait until you feel clearer. Do it properly, or do not do it at all. The voice sounds intelligent because it knows everything about you. It knows how tired you are. It remembers the last time you failed. It knows which fear to call caution, which delay to call preparation, and which retreat to call recovery. It does not need to defeat your discipline. It only needs to turn your decision into a discussion. And once comfort is allowed into the courtroom, comfort has already chosen the judge. So here is the first weapon. When the argument begins, do not answer every point. Say 5 words. The decision is already closed. Not because every decision is perfect, not because circumstances never change, but because discomfort is not automatically new evidence. Before this video ends, you will have 3 orders for ending the negotiation before your weaker mind turns it into a verdict. The first battle often begins before your feet touch the floor. The alarm sounds. Your eyes open. You remember exactly what you promised the night before. You know what time you intended to rise. You know why the early hour mattered. You know what delaying it has already cost you. But a second version of you has now entered the room. This version was not present when the plan was made. It did not consider the future. It did not calculate the cost of another abandoned morning. Its entire world is the discomfort of the next 5 minutes. And yet, you allow this version to reopen the decision. It asks for 5 more minutes, then 10, then a later start, then a better day. Nothing dramatic happens. No enemy breaks through the door. No one forces you to surrender. You simply conduct a meeting with weakness and give it voting rights. The same meeting happens after work. You plan to train. Then 5 o'clock arrives, and the mind begins presenting evidence. The day was unusually demanding. The weather is poor. Your energy feels lower than expected. One missed session will make no difference. You planned to write. Then, the empty page appears. The mind suggests more research, a clearer outline, a better beginning, perhaps tomorrow, when your thoughts are organized. You planned to save money. Then, an object appears that seems temporarily necessary, unusually valuable, and somehow connected to the person you hope to become. You planned to have a difficult conversation. Then, silence begins to resemble maturity. Each argument may contain some truth. That is what makes it dangerous. A foolish excuse is easy to reject. A sophisticated excuse takes real facts and arranges them toward a false conclusion. You may truly be tired. The work may genuinely be difficult. The timing may not be ideal. But those facts do not automatically possess the authority to reverse a decision made in clarity. There is a difference between adjusting a strategy and negotiating with a standard. A strategy must change when evidence changes. If your body is injured, the training changes. If new information reveals that the mission is wrong, the mission changes. If the plan is causing genuine damage, the plan changes. But if the only new information is that the task now feels unpleasant, nothing has changed except the weather inside you. Internal weather is not command. Nearly 2,000 years ago, Marcus Aurelius wrote privately about his own resistance to leaving bed and beginning the duties of the day. This was the Emperor of Rome, a man responsible for decisions affecting armies, cities, laws, borders, and millions of lives. Yet dawn still found him reluctant. That detail matters. He did not write about rising because rising was easy. He wrote because resistance returned. Authority did not remove it. Education did not remove it. Philosophy did not remove it. The emperor still had to leave the bed. Strength is not the permanent absence of resistance. Strength is the refusal to treat familiar resistance as surprising information. Your mind says, "I do not feel like doing this." Very well. The feeling has been heard. It does not require a trial. It does not require a counter-argument. It does not require a second decision. This leads to the first order. Decide in peace. Obey in discomfort. Do not decide whether to rise while the alarm is sounding. Do not decide whether to train while sitting exhausted in the car. Do not decide whether to write while staring at the blank page. Do not decide whether to spend while holding the object in your hand. Those moments have already been contaminated by immediate pleasure, fatigue, fear, pride, or discomfort. Make the decision at a neutral temperature. The night before, write 3 things: the exact time, the exact place. The first physical movement. Do not write, "I will work tomorrow." Write, "At 7 o'clock, I will sit at the desk and open the project file." Do not write, "I will exercise." Write, "At 6:15, I will put on my shoes and walk through the door." Do not write, "I will fix my finances." Write, "After dinner, I will open the account and make the planned transfer." A vague promise must be interpreted. Interpretation creates negotiation. A precise order only has to be executed. The morning version of you is not the commander. It is the soldier receiving instructions from the version of you that was calm enough to remember the mission. This is not cruelty. It is not an order to ignore injury, illness, exhaustion, or reality. It is an order to stop asking discomfort to make strategic decisions. But some days, the original plan will truly be too large. You may have slept badly. Work may have consumed more energy than expected. A family responsibility may have taken the time you intended to use. Your body may need recovery. This is where most people make the second mistake. They believe only 2 possibilities exist: complete the full plan or abandon it. Run the full distance or stay home. Write 1,000 words or write nothing. Train for an hour or cancel the session. Because the full action is no longer realistic, they destroy the entire command. Do not do that. Reduce the action. Do not reopen the decision. This is the second order. Lower the volume. Keep the command. If you cannot run for 40 minutes, walk for 10. If you cannot write 1,000 words, write 100. If you cannot complete the entire training session, perform the first movement with complete attention. If you cannot repair the entire project, correct 1 page. The smaller action is not equal to the larger action. Do not lie to yourself. 10 minutes of work is not the same as 2 hours. But the purpose of the smaller action is not to pretend that output does not matter. Its purpose is to prevent temporary limitation from becoming total surrender. The standard is not maximum performance every day. The standard is continuity of command. You said you would appear, so appear. You said the work mattered, touch the work. You said this identity was being built, place one stone. Your weaker mind wants the day to become zero. Zero is psychologically clean. Once nothing has been done, the mind can declare the entire day lost. It can seek comfort without further resistance because there is supposedly nothing left to protect. One deliberate action destroys that permission. It proves the command still exists. At 9:12 in the evening, Daniel sat alone in front of a project he had avoided for 3 days. A senior colleague had criticized the first version. Some of the criticism was valid, some of it was not. The unfair part was all his mind needed. It began building a case. The colleague did not understand the work. The deadline had been unreasonable. The project had already been damaged by interference. Starting again tomorrow would be more professional. Daniel recognized the voice, not because it sounded foolish, because it sounded exactly like him when he wanted permission to retreat. He did not attempt to feel inspired. He did not replay the criticism. He did not defend himself in an imaginary argument. He did not promise to finish the entire project that night. He said, "The decision is already closed." Then he opened the file. He corrected one page. 12 minutes later, he stopped. The project was not complete. The criticism had not disappeared. His emotions had not been defeated. But command had returned. That is what real discipline often looks like from the outside. Unimpressive, quiet, almost invisible. No transformation montage, no dramatic declaration. A person simply performs the action that was already decided. The world sees 12 minutes of work. The person knows a government has changed. But there is still one problem. You will not always obey. You will sleep through the alarm. You will avoid the conversation. You will waste the evening. You will abandon the task, even after recognizing exactly what your mind is doing. This is not permission. It is preparation. Because the failure itself is rarely what destroys your discipline. The delay after failure does. One missed morning becomes a ruined day. A ruined day becomes a bad week. A bad week becomes evidence. Then identity enters. You stop saying, "I failed to act." You begin saying, "This is the kind of person I am." That sentence feels honest. It is not. It is delayed surrender. Your third order is this: return before shame writes the story. Do not promise that you will never break command. Promise that you will shorten the distance between breaking it and taking it back. When you fail, record 3 times. The time you were supposed to begin. The time you realized you had failed. The time you returned. The third time matters most. At first, the distance may be a day, then 6 hours, then 1 hour, then 10 minutes. This is how discipline becomes durable, not through a perfect streak that makes you terrified of one mistake. Through a recovery system so strong that one mistake cannot become a new identity. Return without punishment. Return without announcing that you are beginning a new life. Return without creating a more complicated plan. Open the file. Put on the shoes. Wash the plate. Make the call. Perform the next physical movement. Drama keeps your attention on the failure. Action returns your attention to the mission. For the next 24 hours, choose one promise. Not 5, Not an entirely new routine. One promise, important enough to expose the negotiation. Write the exact time. Write the exact place. Write the first physical action. When the discussion begins, do not debate it. Say, the decision is already closed. Then begin the first movement within 10 seconds. If the complete action becomes genuinely impossible, reduce it. Do not cancel it. If you fail, return within 1 hour. Do not wait for tomorrow just to make the failure look clean. At the end of the day, ask 3 questions. Did I begin when I said I would? Did I reduce the action without abandoning the command? How long did it take me to return? You do not need a new personality. You do not need permanent motivation. You do not need to silence every doubtful thought. Your mind may present evidence. Your body may ask for comfort. Your ego may call delay wisdom. Let them speak. They are witnesses. They are not commanders. After you have written your promise, comment 1 word. Closed. Do not write it as motivation. Write it as evidence that one decision will no longer be reopened. The moment you stop negotiating, something changes. The task may still be difficult. The emotion may still be present. The resistance may still speak. But the government inside you is no longer a democracy. Discipline begins where the discussion ends.